What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Salud Cabrones podcast. I am Danny Villegas.
And I am Javier Ledesma, not to be confused with Jaime.
Before we get started, we ask you to like, comment, subscribe, and share the Salud Cabrones podcast on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube. And follow us on all social media platforms at Salud Cabrones Podcast. And we want to give a special thanks to our sponsors, the Law Office of Christopher Hoff and the Taco Villa in Villa Park. Big shout out to Chris and Bear Mysterio. Appreciate y'all, fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to you from Midwest Collectibles in Romeoville, Illinois. And our guests today are the owners of Midwest Collectibles. Give it up for Mr. Rich and Chris Sandavol.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate you guys coming along, man. Appreciate you guys inviting us into your home here, man.
Anytime, man.
This is a beautiful store, man. This is nice.
We've only done a couple episodes on site, and I gotta say, this is kind of the most comfortable feeling that I've ever had.
Right, yeah.
We've been inside bars, we've been inside gyms, but this is kind of cool, man.
It's nice and chill and relaxed.
Yeah, I'm around my nerd ism.
I was about to say, I know you are because of everything around here,
yeah,
bro.
It's great.
Yeah.
I'd rather be surrounded by this than most of the other things that we get surrounded by.
Make you fit right in, you know?
Hell yeah.
There you go, man. I appreciate you guys. Dude, how long have you had this store for?
Well, we first started out in the same area about 2 years ago, and we started out with a little 800-foot square store right down the way, and within a year we grew out of our store. So we decided to, we either got to go to a different store or I don't know what we're gonna do here. So spoke to the management and told them, hey, as a matter of fact, they came in and they told us, they're like, wow, you're growing out of your store within a year.
Was it just merchandise or
merchandise? So we do buy, sell, and trade. And she said, I think it's time to move into a bigger store. And we originally wanted this store to start off with. And she right away, she's like, let's do the paperwork. 2 months later, we were in here, and we're, as you can see now, we're a little crowded in here. So
now you're starting to outgrow this one, huh?
Yes, this is a good thing.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. So we are, but we're gonna make some changes. We're gonna move a couple things around, make some more room, implement a couple new things to the store. And we want to just, for next year, for 2025, we want to grow. We want to grow inside here first before we go on to something bigger and better.
Nice. Where did the love for toys start out? Is this something that you've had since you were a kid?
When I was a kid, I didn't have many. The parents couldn't afford any toys.
That's the story of all Latinos, bro.
Exactly, and that's a good thing nowadays because it's like. You raise your kids to like some of the things that you liked.
Yeah.
And then you both collect together.
You ever seen that meme of that guy when it says when little kids grow up to have adult money and they buy all the little kid shit that didn't
that they couldn't get when they were little.
That
guy's driving down the street in a motorcycle wearing a Green Ranger costume and shit.
We were doing a thing called a trunk or treat here for Romeoville, and might I say I do got to give this town a shout out because they've been fabulous with us. First off, and we were invited to do a trunk or treat, which means that we go to the local, like either the town hall or the schools, and we buy candy for the kids and we pass them out to all the children that come out. And I tell you that some of the costumes that we seen out there was fabulous. And the last, I think, set of costumes that we seen was all the Power Rangers.
Nice.
Yellow, black, green, red, blue. And it was, as soon as it came to us, we seen them from across the way walking towards us. As soon as they got to us, I was like, great costume. I was like, I gave them a flyer for our con that's coming up. And I said, you guys should show up. And they're like, oh, great. And when I find out who they are, it was the mom, the dad, the aunt, and the uncles that dressed up. And there was only one kid there. It was a baby. So I was like, this is phenomenal for all them to just dress up for the one child and take them out trick or treating. I mean, I can remember that back in my days. When I was younger. They would take us all out, and it'd be fun, and all the kids would be dressed up and stuff like that. But back to where we were, where I started at. So when I was younger, of course, we didn't have much to go on, but the things I did had, I had to take care of them. But when we were kids, who took care of their kids? Who took care of their toys?
Exactly.
Who left them in the original packages?
Man,
No one, man. They were meant to be played with, man.
Exactly. So I kind of, I grew out of it and started doing different things. Had a family, 2 boys. Been married for 20 years now, happily. And
I like how you throw that in there just in case she's listening.
happily.
Huh?
Yeah.
I love you, baby.
You gotta throw that. You gotta throw the head.
I gotta throw in there, man.
Throw emphasis in happily. Too.
Happily. Honey, happy.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Honey, if you're listening, I'm also happy.
Me too, baby. So am I.
They're happy for us.
They're allowing us to do the stuff that we do, man. Otherwise, we'd be at home getting in trouble for not being at home.
Right. So, being a responsible adult, I had a job working for a soda company. And the pandemic hit. So I was like, well, I'm hoping it's not going to affect our company. A week later, I get a phone call from my boss. A little upset, and she's like, I got to let you go.
Mm. And how long were you with this company for?
Devastated. 5 years.
Okay.
It's funny because before that I was with another company for like 15. So I'm in it for the long haul when I would join company, to work for places. And I said I was devastated. The wife automatically became the breadwinner. She's a psychiatric nurse practitioner right now. Very proud of her. Been in school forever and a day. But I figure, well, she'll be in school forever and a day, and I know one day she's gonna find that wonderful job that she loves, and not call it a job and just do it for fun, so she goes, she's been going to work, and I was at home looking for a job, and, my son was at home, just graduated high school, and I said, what am I going to do now? Let's go out. I got to go out looking for, drive around, look for a job, put some applications in, blah, blah, blah. But nobody was really going out. Everybody you had to stay home.
Yeah.
You know, wear a mask.
Yeah.
Who was hiring? Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
So what do I do? So Chris is like, Dad, you know what? You think, you want to know what the real money is? I tell the story to everybody. I know he gets sick of it. He's heard it 100 times. And I said, where's the real money, Chris? And he says, in toys.
So this was his idea then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said, this is what I said. Okay, Chris. Exact thing. Exactly. And he's looking.
There's a crickets.
It was. I'm thinking this guy's thinking of toys, and I'm looking for a job. I'm like, and wouldn't you know, he was right all the time.
And how did you know about this, Chris? How did you know that's where?
I think after high school, I was just like, okay, well, what am I going to do in the meantime while we're working and stuff? And I was like, I kind of want to get into a hobby. Me and my brother, we've always been into this type of stuff. Mm-hmm. He's always been into video games and collecting, and I was just more into like comics and drawing comic books.
Dragon Ball Z.
And that was our favorite.
Okay.
Wrestling and Dragon Ball Z was probably our favorite.
Okay.
And as we kind of got older, I was like, I kind of want to collect some stuff for our room. And he was like, that'd be cool, because we were already kind of like, if we saw something cool, we're like, we got to put this in the room. It's gonna look awesome with our stuff. And we were just like, it's gonna be really sick. We're gonna have a really cool room. And after high school, I was just like, okay, well, I want to collect things that I didn't get to collect. So I started going to comic book stores, and I just kept going there often, and he was taking me, and I know he was kind of getting sick of it, because I was like, all right, I got to get comic books, and he was like, okay, and I was just like, I got to build my own collection, and I started getting all the books that I've always wanted to get, and it started going into figures and everything else, and I was like, I think there's something here, Dad. It was like, I was watching YouTube videos on people collecting and going to shows and people making all this money, and I was like, I think this could work. I mean, at this point, we're trying everything, and it wasn't working. And I was like, we got nothing to lose at this point. Let's try something, and if it works, it works. I was like, and I think it'll be fun. I know the stuff. I was like, you know how to sell. I was like, I'll try to learn whatever I can, and I think it could work out. And he was like, all right, let's do it, and ended up building up something bigger.
It was a situation where you guys were teaching each other.
Chris was the mastermind behind it, but I had the skills, because I had so many years of sales and behind me. So I was like, well, if I could teach you how to sell, Chris, you're a genius. But if you could teach me how, some of these toys have come to, like, why you like them and everything, because you gotta remember, if you rewind back, I was into baseball and football collecting cards for a while, and he got me back into it because I would drop him off across next. There was literally where we would go to for his collectibles for his comic books. Next door, there's a baseball place that sold baseball cards, and this is 2020. This is some of the big stars, Lonzo Ball and a couple other people that were really big. So people were trying to hit that $10,000 card, $20,000.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I was like, you know what? Let me go next door and see what he's into. And I started seeing these figures. I was like, man, look at that Hulk. I'm a huge fan of Hulk, huge fan of Batman. And I was just like, wow, look at these damn toys. You know, I'm like, I remember this when I was a kid. You know, and it just from there it swallowed me.
Yeah.
I literally gave up. I literally gave up collecting baseball and cards and football cards and everything. Not long after that.
I firmly believe that at the top of these like toy companies, there sits someone like us,
Yes.
going like, let's make toys not for the little kids because they're not the ones collecting. They're making toys for us, for adults.
Yes.
Where you go in there and these are the things that appeal to us.
Hence the Galactus, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
With
Something like that. The statue might.
Yeah, they're huge toys that obviously
Yeah.
you're not buying a child.
Hot Toys, Sideshow.
Yeah.
These are statues and stuff that they make like the
and
Batman behind you.
I think Hasbro is a good example of that. Like you were saying about the Galactus. They do a lot of things now where like they'll be like, hey, we're thinking of doing another giant character. Like we were talking about the Build-A-Figures earlier. They'll be like, hey, we're thinking of doing like a giant Ant-Man. We want you to go in there and you vote, and it's mostly for adults, which they're smart. It's gonna sell. We all
They're the ones
want to
with the
buy.
money.
Yeah, and so they've gotten pretty smart with it, with being like, hey, if you want to vote for it, you know, we're not saying you can spend your money, but if you want to put your money into it, we'll build it, and it'll be exclusively for you guys. And man, it goes crazy, and they got more coming out. But I'm like, man, these toy companies are getting smarter. But I mean, it helps. It helps build a community and collectors, and it just allows us to do more shows and stuff like this. So
True.
So how do you know? Because I'm not very educated on all this stuff. I know they got like big conventions for these kind of things. I know these things are very popular. How do you guys know like what's going to make the money?
I think it really ranges on what it is. I mean, if it's Funkos or figures or comics, I'm constantly following a lot of accounts telling us, what's coming out, what's a sneak peek. They'll post stuff that's coming out in like the next year or a couple months, and you kind of see it when you see a lot of people's reviews. I mean, you can tell what doesn't work. I mean, for example, Spider-Man does good no matter what it is. We've noticed it a lot when people bring stuff and what's selling, what people are constantly asking for, and what's doing good at conventions. But it's just following what other people are talking about. You notice it when you go to conventions and comic book stores. People they talk about certain things, and you just kind of start to know when you start listening to other people talk about what they're liking and what their opinions and why, and toy companies start listening. So that kind of helps us know, but a lot of times it's just once you start doing it, you just start knowing. I don't know how to
It's also
explain it,
random too, because example, me, I love my wrestling stuff, right? But there could be somebody walking in the door. Like I know a professional wrestler that's been in the business for over 20 years. He's an avid collector. He just got rid of his entire wrestling collection so that he can start buying He-Man stuff. And then you figure it's like, really? But that's his love. No, everyone that's walking in that door doesn't have the exact same love for certain things that you do.
That's true.
What's popular and what you love may not be what the other guy's gonna love. So it really depends. Because for me, I know people that collect pops like crazy, and I was late to the game on that. And I was like, now I want to start, but it's so overwhelming to see how many pops are out there, especially because they're able to license so much from different genres that it's almost intimidating to get into that hobby. I know people that like you open up their closet and it's just packed. I think I have like maybe 10 or 20, and that's it.
Yeah.
So what is it about the Funko Pops that make them so?
So I wanted you asked us about. How do we know? I just wanted to take it back real quick.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of certain. Like I seen your shirt. I'm digging the shirt.
Oh, appreciate it.
The Chicago Star.
Yeah.
It's a favorite. Whoever from Chicago knows that.
Yeah.
The Chicago Stars.
It was his idea for the design of the shirt. So
they stand out. So, that shirt's gonna be hot, right?
Mm.
He knows that shirt's gonna be hot. I know that shirt's gonna be hot. Everybody in the same. It's kind of like the same with the Funko Pops. Yeah. once you know it's hot, somebody else knows it's hot. He knows it's that's coming out. This is coming out. Everyone catches on.
There's that buzz.
There's the buzz. It's hot. Yeah. Now everybody thinks, Funko's gonna go away. Funko's gonna do this. They've made so many Funkos so far, thousands of them. They got contracts with everybody. WWE. I mean, from everything. Comedy shows, cartoons, old school shows. I have 2 pops from Sanford and Son.
Oh no.
Yeah, from some Fred Sanford and Lamont.
Because I see they're very popular. I see they're making them with so many different characters. And
they're not going to be, just to put it out there, they're not going to be like Beanie Babies. Mm-hmm. And they ain't no way.
We get that a lot.
We have, they're going to die soon. Watch that go away. But you know what? That's Funko Pops are our bread and butter. Mm-hmm. We sell Funko Pops all day long.
Really? Okay.
All day long. We could sell them all day long. What they're gonna do is they're gonna make so many of them. They're gonna stop. They're gonna watch the next couple of shows. Dave just killed his wife with what? With a guitar. Here's Dave with a pop with a guitar in his hand.
Yeah.
And that's the Grail.
Yeah.
That's the Grail. That's all. That's a $400 pop now. Dave with the bloody guitar.
That is insane.
Just for instance,
Pop culture is so wide that the idea of that is just never ending.
And a lot of people don't know, but some of these pops are like bobbleheads.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So Funko has this thing where they kind of go around certain legal things of what they can do and what they can't. And you kind of catch on when you're looking at some of them. Like for instance, for Marvel, Funko has to do this thing where they have to make it a bobblehead sometimes, to where it actually has to shake for it to be not considered a figure, because Marvel has licensing with figure companies.
Oh, really?
But I don't know if that's still is a thing for it now. But I think they had it a while then. So if you see some of the Marvel Funkos,
it's interesting you say that. I never realized that. I didn't know that aspect, because I have a couple Marvel. I have the Luchador Marvels. I don't know if you guys know those. Like Venom, Spider-Man, but they're like Lucha Libre figures, and they're all bobbleheads.
So if it's a Marvel character, that'll be a bobblehead.
A good amount of them will have the actual shaking head with the spring. Yeah. But now they've gotten, I don't know if the little rule has changed, but some of them are still. But you'll catch it if you look at some of your Marvel pops. If you take them out and you'll see a little spring that they.
So what's the most popular Funko Pop you guys are selling?
I think at the moment the top lines have to be Dragon Ball Z is doing pretty good right now with the new video game coming out and their shows. So Dragon Ball Z is doing good. One Piece always does fantastic. And Spider-Man and anything Marvel. Horror does pretty good. I mean, it comes around when Halloween, but especially those are so.
As you can see, we got our new mugs in there.
Yeah, I saw those. Yeah.
Yeah, we got some Jason, some Freddy, and some Beetlejuice.
Yeah, I was eyeballing that. I was like,
But I think right now the top popular would have to be the new horror pops that they have coming out. They have a couple, but when horror pops come out, they are so hard to find. People buy them. They go crazy for them.
Let me ask you this: now that you're getting so educated into the world of toys and collecting as a whole, I can relate this. When I was running a bar, I wasn't a beer drinker, so I had to do my research, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, this all came to me, blah blah blah, and little by little, I was on social media. I was going online, trying to find out as much information as I could, so that I can sell the product. So now. You are learning all about this, but you're also a collector. What are you buying that you go, shit, I can't put this at the store. This is mine.
Everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's got a problem.
Everything. We have a problem. My name is Rich. I have a problem. Hi, Rich.
It's hard sometimes.
He's got an AA for toys collecting.
Sometimes, man, we get stuff in, and I'm just like, Dad, this gotta go home with us. Like, I can't. I'm like, I've been searching for this. And he had the same thing too. We'll see something, we're like, oh my God. Like, there's people who bring in stuff and we have to keep a straight face.
Yeah.
And people bring stuff in and we just look at it and we're just like, oh my God, this guy's dumb.
We've
like, there's no way he's selling this.
Yeah,
so
we have to tell him, you know what you had. Like, because we rule number one in our store is we never try to cheat somebody out of what they have. That's a no-no in our game. It'll come back to you.
Yeah, because we're customers. We were customers too, so we understand. Like, we don't want to be done dirty. So we'll explain people.
Tell them, hey, this isn't a $10 pop; it's a $400 pop. Damn. And I'm gonna offer you this because you wanted this. I'm gonna offer you this, and they leave and they're happy. As long as you leave happy from our store, we're happy. and that's why we have the reviews that we have.
Yeah,
We have a lot of 5-star reviews, and because we work hard, we want to serve the community. We want the community to be happy, not only just the community, but people that come from everywhere. We have people coming from Tennessee.
Yeah, we get people
Florida,
from everywhere.
Arizona. We get people that come here. We have one couple that comes here. They used to live here. Don't have any family here, and they still come from Tennessee, a couple hours drive, just to come to our store to shop, pick up all their Funkos, and then they go right back on the road.
I'll tell you this much: when I go on vacation somewhere, there are very few things that I look around. It's always like, obviously, the must. What restaurants are there, right? What's this? What's that? I love certain things like the historical aspect of certain cities, but one of the number one things I always look for is like comic book shops and toy shops. It's like, where am I gonna go? That's gonna be really cool. That
Don't
I
we
can,
all?
yeah, exactly.
Don't
that
we all?
that we can't get back home. So yeah, I can
Tom's
totally
Toys were
understand.
stopping there. All right,
Yeah.
that's the place.
I think our mom gets my mom gets so mad when we're going shopping, and she's like, all right, you need to go pick up some groceries, and it's the same with my dad or my brother, and we're like, you know what, let's forget about the groceries for a second. Let's go check the toy aisle. I'm like, the groceries can wait. I'm like, I
go to
gotta,
the toy aisle first.
I gotta see
Walmart,
it.
toy aisle first.
and you'll bump
I
into
agree.
you'll bump into someone else who's looking at the same thing, and you're just like,
Hey, you guys are from Midwest, aren't you? Oh yeah, we're
Yeah,
just
we
seeing
get-
what's out. You know?
we get people every now and then when we go out there, and they're like, oh, you shop? I'm like, yeah, I have a normal life too.
we're
I'm like,
humans.
it's cool though. I'm
guys, you know?
like, thank you for making me feel awesome.
My favorite thing is you're at the aisle shop, you're at the toy area in this whatever store maybe, and you see this adult coming in with their child, and then you know very damn well you're looking at the toys for yourself, right?
Yeah.
And you see the little kid grab something, and he's like, "Oh, this is what I want," and then the adult goes, "Yeah." Reaches over and grabs something. You know that's going for him, because that's what I do with my son. I'm like, all right, bro, one for you, two for me.
But it's funny how, like, let's take it back, because you're like, when people come in, they'll be like, we're looking through their stuff, and we're like, you can't sit there and be like, because this is when people want to ask you for, oh, I need more money than that. But when you see something and you see a pop that was put out in 2012 or 2013, those are like rails.
Yeah,
And you look at it and you're just like, there's times where we're just like,
We look at each other like, oh my god.
but when we first start, we're like, oh my god, oh, do you
Yeah.
see what we, and
Yeah, you gawk at it
I
as a
finally had
fan,
to stop that and be like, guys, when people bring stuff in, do not pull this, do not be like, and do not be like, oh my god, just let them know, hey, because if they do that, what are you gonna say?
yeah. You develop your poker face.
You're gonna be the guy that's gonna come in. He's gonna be like, no, I want $500 for it, and
Yeah.
we don't do that. We can't do that because we have to make our money back on it. So-
What is that? That show, the Vegas pawn shop one.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
funny
Pawn
because
Stars.
we
Yeah,
sit
Pawn
there like Pawn Stars. We sit there sometimes and we watch them. We're like, do you see how they're on TV?
Yeah.
And those guys get away with some murder though sometimes.
Yeah.
But I did watch an episode one time where he's like, listen, you wanted $20 for it and it's over $1,000. So I want to offer you this. I mean, see, the rule is there.
Yeah.
Don't cheat your customers because it's
Exactly.
gonna come back to you, or no one's gonna shop with you. When they find out that you're lying or something.
And you build that reputation
Yes.
for the opportunity to have more customers.
Build a
'Cause,
solid relationship. You want to build your foundation on a solid relationship.
So now, as the store is growing and you guys are developing your MO, so to speak, your mark on the industry, and people are coming in from, like you mentioned, different locations, and now you're outgrowing your first location. How does it feel to get that first taste of success coming out of the pandemic? That you said that things weren't looking great; they were looking grim. So how does that feel when you're succeeding? And he's proven right at this moment, and like his idea is cashing in.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's like, I didn't want to admit it.
And actually, and before you answer that, my thing is like, 'cause you said when he first brought that to your attention, hey Dad, we should sell toys, and you looked at him like, yeah, okay. What was it that made you budge? Like, you know what? Okay, fine, let's try it.
I'll tell you right now where when I was like, holy beep, was we were at a show in Kankakee, and I had a bunch of Batman stuff. I had a Penguin. He was this big. Michael Keaton a little bit bigger. They were like 36-inch figures, and they were sought after a lot. A lot of Batman people will come out and go to these shows. Just Superman, everybody. Every collector will come out and they come to these shows. We had about 2 tables filled. It was this was our first big show, and it's called Collectors Con. and it's in Kankakee, and it comes around like 2 or 3 times a year. And I was just like, all right, let's try it out. We when we got there, we got off the expressway, and it's literally a barn. It's like a size of a barn in the middle of nowhere, right off the highway.
Yeah, it's like by some fields, but I mean,
Just
if you
fields,
go there,
just
you'll
cornfields, and you'll see signs on the fences. Collectors Con this way, Collectors Con this way. So I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So we pull in there.
Next to
meet with the
horse
homeowner.
manure.
Well, believe it or not, it is really clean on there. They do keep up down there. There was no, there was no horses. No
yeah, we were
cows,
thinking the
nothing,
same
no.
thing though. We're
Yeah.
like, where is this by farms? But
So we set up that day, and I was like, okay, let's you work your magic, okay? Let's see what we got here, because I was doing smaller shows, and I just wasn't hitting the mark that I wanted to hit. I wasn't bringing that stake money home yet, or bringing that mortgage money home yet. So, we left that day. As a matter of fact, well, like I said, we set up the table. There was everybody was at our table. I was like, oh, this is fantastic. This is great, man. We're making some money, and a handful of cash on me. And one guy I'm noticing him creeping up, like, in the crowd, coming up, and he gets to the front. And he's like, hey, how much are those for the Batman and the Penguin? And I was like, oh, no, $300. The other one's $350 or whatever, $400.
and then he went Ninja Turtles, and
And
we're
then
like,
he's like,
okay, that's a lot.
okay, I'll
already,
take
but-
them both.
Just like that, no hesitation.
And I was like, holy cow! Like I kind of wanted to leave the booth and run down the aisle, just like we just won, like we won the lottery, And then he's like, after that, like right after he goes, and then I want all those Ninja Turtles right there, and then I want those other accessories. And I'm looking at what he's pointing at. I'm looking at him like, okay, and he turns around, looks at a gentleman that's standing in the back.
Yeah, it was random because it was like just people, like it just was like normal background
20,
people
30
walking
people at the
around.
table.
And
But he turns around, looks at some guy in the back. He says, "Pay the man."
The hell?
Just cracked me up like,
I said, I couldn't believe it. I'm thinking, what the hell is
I looked at him like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah,
I was about to say, who was it?
He was with some dude, some other guy, and they were just shopping. And he turns around and said, "Pay him." He walks away, and literally the guy knew what he wanted. How the hell he found out how he knew what he wanted? I don't know, because he was standing in the back.
yeah.
But it's like, all right, and so we just start grabbing the stuff, throwing it in the bags, and he just pulls out a pocket full. I'm like, here you guys go. We made $900 off that sale.
Holy
Nice.
shit.
And at that, I think we made $3,500 that day. And I was like, holy shit. Sorry about that. I looked at Chris, I was like, and he goes, I told you. And he's like, this isn't nothing either. Wait till we do bigger shows than this. And I was like,
Yeah, because all I kept thinking was, I'm like, we gotta do bigger shows. I mean, it's gonna help us. I'm like, and he just kept saying like, let's sign up for this show and this show. And I'm like, Dad, I don't know.
Yeah, he's
like,
like,
not to
stop
be
with
mean,
this-
but
stop
like,
with
I don't
those
think it's
little
worth
shows,
it.
Dad.
This
It's
show.
not
I'm
gonna-
like, I think we need to sign up for something bigger. I'm like, if we're looking to make that money that we need, for home, I'm like, we really need to do bigger shows. And he was just like, okay, well, let's keep trying. We worked our way up, and when that happened, we were just like, awesome, like we made some good money today. Like we actually sold some stuff.
Midwest Collectibles was built. I could say built because we built this from the ground up. We didn't have startup money. We pulled out our money from our pockets and our underneath our beds and our pillows and everything, and just brought a couple grand to the table, and we took our own collections and we threw them in the store, and we said, let's do it. When the wife.
Ouch. Side note, ouch. Because if my wife would have been like, hey, use your collection, I'm like, whoa, slow the fuck down here.
Well, you know what? I think at that time, that's correct. Well, we were doing that to each other. No, why are you going to put that out? Well, why are you going to put that out? I'm like, you're right.
He's like, we got to put our collection. I'm like, I'm not putting mine. You can put your collection.
I feel that's right. He didn't want to give up his.
It's like, dude, it took me a
I'm
long
like,
time
yeah.
to collect this.
But I'm thinking we both had a dream. Let's put it together. Let's do it. So as I'm driving around with the wife and Chris, and we were telling her about our experience and how much we brought home, and she's just like, wow. She's like, baby, you have such the sales experience. She's like, I know you didn't let them guys walk past the table. And I was like, I didn't. I talked them into buying this stuff. How you need this stuff? When are you gonna find another Michael Keaton Batman this big and a Penguin that looked just like Danny? It was Danny DeVito, and it was beautiful set. I wish I didn't sell it, but we made our money.
it was beautiful.
But she's like, I think you guys should open your own store.
Wait, time out. So this happened before you guys had the store?
Oh, wow.
shit.
We were doing like small shows and just
We were hustling.
Okay,
Damn.
so
We
you
were
guys were
hustling.
selling these collections and all stuff at shows. So
Yeah.
the store
Yes.
wasn't even a thing yet.
Yeah,
It wasn't
we-
a thing yet. No.
we were
Okay.
just shopping in places and trying to find the new stuff and trying to flip it. I mean, we were going to our friend today our brother store, Mr. Wayne's.
Westmont.
Yeah,
So
Pop
at,
Culture Collectibles.
at that moment, was a store even a thought? in your
Store
head?
wasn't
No.
a thought until the wife said, I think you should. And when she, I seriously remember this. In my mind, I'm driving and I hear her saying it so slow. I think you guys should open a collectibles
That,
store.
Charlie,
I was like,
Charlie Brown thing.
but I understood the words. I heard the words this time, not the wah, wah, wah. And then I looked at Chris in the mirror and I go, and he's just like,
Immediately, I thought of, I don't know if you guys watch the show The Big Bang Theory.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Sheldon and all
Yeah.
them. I thought of the comic book guy, and I just thought, that is the dream to me. I would love it. I'm like, I've always wanted to have my own nerdy space. I was like,
Yeah.
let's
So you
do
know
it.
what we
And
did? We went and dropped my wife off. Then went and looked for a store that day.
Yep.
Took us 3 weeks and we found a store right in this,
Yep.
right now.
Oh, well, it wasn't because until someone on Facebook. That was odd. So we had posted in a
yes.
Bolingbrook group.
Yes.
We posted out saying, hey, we're thinking of opening a collectible store because we were in Bolingbrook at the time, and we are like, what would people think if we opened a store here in Bolingbrook? Because we don't see any comic book stores or something like that. People were automatically going, yeah, this is a good idea. You should do it.
We had about 80 hits on that.
yeah.
Within 2 hours, we had about 80 hits.
Yep.
People, boom. My phone kept going off. I couldn't believe it. So finally, somebody had reached out to me, gentleman, and I don't want to throw him out there like that because he wasn't trying to down Bolingbrook at all whatsoever. He just said, I tried it. It didn't work. You might want to try Romeoville. As a matter of fact, I have a buddy over there. His name is so-and-so. He's the mayor of Romeoville. And talked to him. He said that he wanted to bring in a collectible store. Comic books and stuff like that. I was like, okay, great. So I reached out to the mayor. Wonderful man. He does so much for this town. And he says, hey, Rich, how you doing? It just started off so clean. And I was just like, wow, we're going to hit it off. My wife always tells us, you get along with everybody. For some reason, people know you.
We love to
everywhere.
talk with people. We tell people when they come inside, like, come talk to us. We'll talk to you
Come
about
on.
anything in the
Yeah.
store. You want to talk about the new Spider-Man movie? We'll
And
talk
we'll
about
sit here
it.
and bullshit with you.
That's how I met you guys.
Yeah.
I was out selling beer.
Yeah.
Right next door.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let me go in here real quick
Yeah.
to buy my son a gift. Son, yeah, right, me, right? Then we just started talking wrestling.
Yeah,
And
I
that was
think
it.
I think you were getting something from the case, and I told my dad, I said, "Oh, he's a wrestling collector." I was like, "He
We love
seems cool."
wrestling.
And then you were
Guys
talking
that
about,
collect wrestling.
I think you were talking about you did with promotions and wrestling.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, "Oh, that guy seems pretty cool. We like that stuff too." And then we
He's
just
not,
ended up talking.
He's not cool, but yeah.
I just play one on TV. Right?
He plays a cool dude.
But yeah, that's 100% correct. That you guys were really easy to talk to, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I left here and I was like, hey man, I was at the store, blah 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 blah. And we had just done an episode with Gabe, B96 Gabe,
Ramirez.
and I had mentioned it to you that we had a podcast, and I said, oh yeah, this and that, and you go, oh, I know that guy.
Did you mention? Yeah, Gabe. I know Gabe.
Yeah, that's what he was telling
Yeah.
me. Yeah. Great dude.
Good kid.
Yeah.
I used to bounce at nightclubs and.
Oh,
I used
really?
to Gabe when he was younger. Yeah, you remember that Gabe, right? That's my guy, Gabe. He knows who I am.
As I sent Danny a message, I'm like, dude, small world, is this and that, and that was that. There was nothing more. It was
He
just
was
that.
just starting to get his career up and going when he back then. I mean, he was in school still, and I remember, he used to. As a matter of fact, I took my phone out. I was like, "You see this guy? That's Gabe." He's like, because we took a picture of my house for my birthday one day, and he's standing next to me, and I shot it to Gabe. I tagged Gabe, and he's like, "Hey, the old days." I was like, "Yeah." But yeah, so the mayor's like, "Hey, anything I could do to help, let me know. We'd like to welcome you to open arms." I was like, "All right, cool." So, we asked about the smaller spot, which was 800 square feet, which is literally was.
It was like a
was it?
long hallway.
It was a long hallway, yeah.
It was really thin, actually. Now you look at it.
And we made it happen. We just kept hustling. We didn't have enough toys to fill our store.
Yeah.
So we went to, we were talking to Mr. Mike from Mr. Wayne's, And we're like, man, we're so close to getting it filled, but we don't. And Michael's just like, why didn't you tell me? You know, I got toys in my storage still. I'll front you a bunch of toys. You know, you pay me when you can. And I was like, no, you wouldn't do that.
Because at the time we were just going as shoppers, and we started talking every now and then. We were like starting to talk more, and
we met him we were for like a year and a half, almost 2 years before
so
we opened.
It was just nuts when he was like, he heard the news and he's just like, oh, you guys are thinking of opening a store? That's awesome! Like, congrats! And
he's like, I'm all up for a new store, man. He's like, hell yeah! He's like, congratulations! Like, anything that can help. And to this day, that guy has been nothing but a brother to us.
Well, it's awesome that he didn't see you guys as competition and as basically a
brother.
He
warned us. He warned us.
He made sure to put it out there first.
He said, let me tell you something, boys. This is my side of town. And he started
like the mafia.
He started laughing. It was a joke. But, he's just like, where's it at? I said, Romeo. He goes, oh, good.
That's when he realized you guys are good enough. Yeah, you guys are far away from me.
But man, he's been great to us, and without us, we gotta tip our hats to him because without him, there's no Midwest.
When we were first starting, man, that was a lot. We had to get the store ready in like 9 days for our grand opening. So we were painting, putting shelves, doing everything all in like 9 days.
5 days in a row we did. 6 days in a row we did 12-hour, 13-hour.
We were there from like maybe 9 to like 1, maybe.
It's no walk in the park, man. It's no walk in the park. When you have your own business, you realize that's all you.
Yeah.
You live your business.
Yeah.
Your business comes really before your family sometimes too. We worked 6 days a week sometimes when we first started. 6 days a week, and that 7th day was the day everybody closes their store on Mondays. All the collectible stores supposedly close on Mondays. I don't know why, but they all close on Mondays. So we found out, we're like, all right, cool, let's keep our store closed on Mondays or whatever, and even our days off.
You're in here restocking, doing whatever. Yeah, no, it's they always say that you're married to your business.
You are, and people don't realize that. You lose friends, you lose family, you lose a lot in the process of trying to build your future, and they don't realize that. It's just, we're not trying to ignore you. We're not trying to not talk to you. I mean, I've gotten phone calls from the aunt and uncles, and where you at? Why aren't you coming over? I'm like,
shut up. You could try to buy some toys or what?
You gotta understand.
You're like, come here so I can leave early.
Yes, I'm like, you gotta understand. And I was like, this is our lives now. We didn't realize how even the wife, she just called me before we came on, and she's like, you're gonna pick something up to eat? What are you gonna do? I was like, she's like, I'll cook for you. I was like, I love some home cooking. I was like, yeah. I was like, we'll be home, a decent time. But I mean, she knows too. She works 2 jobs, and she knows how it is to get out there. And she's so proud of us.
I was about to say, what is your wife say? Because since this was her idea, saying, hey, you guys just open up a store.
She always tells me, she's like, you ain't going nowhere now. I invested too much in you.
She's your loan shark, isn't she?
I'm not lying, baby. I'm not lying. We're here to stay, right? She knows. Yep.
So when you finally had this idea come to fruition and you're opening your store, what kind of sense of pride did you have knowing that this was your brainchild?
Oh, I was so happy. I just kept thinking, like, I'm going to make sure to, keep doing what we're doing and just try to make this the best store we can. I mean, every day when I walk in, every now and then, you can catch me literally walking around and looking at every single thing because I can tell you what's new, what's not, what's old. There's times where my brother, he's away at the moment doing some army training, but he would come in and he would tell me, he'd be like, oh yeah, we just had someone buy some stuff. I'm like, give me a second. I'm going to walk around and I can tell you what you bought, and I'll tell you whether if it was good or not.
He does.
And he's like, okay. He's like, I bet you can. He's like, there's 3 things. I was like, okay. So I'd walk around and I constantly look at everything. I want to see what we have, what maybe needs to, go down in price and what's not selling. And I'd always tell him, I'd be like, oh, did you get this? I'm like, this new Spider-Man figure? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I know, because I look at all the time and I try to see, what can we, bring in that would be, sell or do really good or just, people want to see. So, I mean, I love it. I love looking at our store. Our store is our baby. And when we hire people too, we tell them, treat it like your baby. Take care of it. If you see if it's dirty, if the glass is dirty, whatever, or something needs to be fixed up, treat it like how you would treat your, your room or your house or whatever. I mean, just take care of it. That's all we ask.
I mean, if you're walking outside and your pants fall down, you're not gonna leave them fall down.
Right.
You're gonna walk around with a tore shirt? No, you gotta fix it.
Yeah, that's true.
Keep That's what I was thinking about there. We merchandise our store at least 2 times a week.
Yeah, I think we've changed our store like 15 times. People come in, they're like, "Wait, this was just here."
I'm like, wait, when did you have?
We were
changed
bored,
yesterday.
guys.
Because we have to constantly keep that flow.
Yeah.
Keep the flow, mixing it up, and then
Yeah,
we
it's
just
true.
did. We just did the case today.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
we
say
actually-
that.
We just did the case today. We had more pops in there and more other things in there, but we figured we put the mugs in there, and I think Halloween and horror stuff is just a big seller. So what do you want to do? You don't want to put it in the shelf and leave it all the way up and down
Yeah,
and
that's
nobody
true.
sees it.
Eyeball.
You want to put it right here because people like yourself, you come in, you're like,
Oh, I saw those when I walked in the
those
door.
are
I was like,
nice.
shit.
I bought three of them when I first seen them for who I got them from, and then I asked them. I was like, "Could you make me some for the store?" They're like, "Yeah, and gave me a decent price." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." They just came in today.
I walked in one day. I forgot where I saw this, and growing up Latinos, you always have your mom or your grandma had those big velas, the big candles, with the Jesus on there.
Yeah.
I walked in somewhere and there was like wrestlers, so it was like Saint blah blah blah, and so it was like
awesome.
a mock up, and I go, shit, get me out of here right now, because I watched. I will buy everything in front of me. Like they had the Undertaker, they had everything. I was like, I can't be here. Like, it was one of those things that I was like, I've never seen that in my life. I want it all.
I'm
It's cool when-
curious. Earlier, you guys were saying how you can't believe some of the things that people bring in to sell. Or like you guys don't, at first you guys didn't have a poker face for it.
Yeah.
Was one thing that sticks out in your head that someone brought in? Where you're like, holy shit, I
I
can
can tell you exactly.
He already knows what I'm thinking, but go ahead.
Yeah, his
I think
Holy
it was
Grail
a
already.
bank robber Joker, right?
No.
Bank robber Joker would be no.
Is that Pop?
It was the skateboard from Back to the Future.
Hoverboard?
Oh yeah.
Hoverboard.
So we had. So this was so random. So it was one day. It was raining out. We were at the first store. It was me, my brother, and my dad, and we're sitting there cleaning up some like new statue that came in. Some guy brought in, and one of the town officials came in and. They were just trying to get to know us. I think it was one of the chamber members.
Yes.
They came in. They wanted to get to know us, and they're like, "Hey, we didn't get to come and meet you your grand opening. We just wanted to come in. I wanted to get to know you and pick your brain about the store and how you got into it." And we're like, "Okay." We're like, we kind of get used to telling the story over and over and over, but it's fun. I mean, you've seen people's faces, but we were telling them, we're like, people sometimes just bring in the most random things. Like people bring in stuff, and you'll just be like, "How do you even have this?" Or
Yeah.
this is so cool. And as we're telling him that, some guy runs in, opens our door, and he's like drenched in like rain, and it's like pouring out there, and he's like, "I have a question." He goes, "I'm in a rush." He goes, "Do you guys buy memorabilia?" And we're like, "Yeah." We're like, "Well, what do you have?" And he's like, I can't bring it right now, but I have a gift. It was given me as a wedding gift. It was a prop from the movie Back to the Future. I have the self-lacing shoes, and I have the hoverboard. He's like, "Would you guys mind if I bring that in sometime?" We're like,
We just looked at each other like,
"Yeah."
"You crazy?"
And it was an
Yes,
actual
but
movie
you-
prop?
He
Yeah,
was like,
actually-
he's like, "I want to bring it in." He goes, he went to show us pictures, and he was like, he's like, "Can I bring in some other time? I don't have it with me right now, but I want to get rid of it."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, "Okay." And we're looking at the town official like, "Do you see this? Like, this is just random stuff that happens sometimes." And he was just looking at us like, "From the movie Back to the Future?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, I don't know. That guy just came out of nowhere. I was like, "But yeah." I was like, even if we can't buy it,
Yeah.
we'd love to look at it and
Yeah.
just admire. I'm like, because we're fans ourselves, so anytime we get to see something cool, it's just like, even if we can't pay you, we just want to see it. But
Yeah, because we just started out. I'm sure you wanted 20 grand for it, or 40, 50 grand, whatever, however much it was. But
So I'm guessing you guys did not buy it.
no, we didn't.
If he did, you'd be out on the
Yeah.
parking lot riding it, huh?
Yeah,
the store wouldn't even be here.
right? We're supposed to be on that podcast. Hold on, let me go one more spin. Let me go one more back. But we've had another guy come in to bring the oddest thing, and we're like, this is, I don't know if it's kind of racist or what it is.
Oh my! I know
You
exactly.
already know
what you're
what
talking
I'm
about.
thinking, but this guy brought in a set, a dance,
Yeah, that
kind of
was-
like a dancing
It was a
set, but
dancing animatronic.
He's like, these guys, and one had like a black face on him,
Oh my god!
and
Yeah, it
one
was so.
had a tan face on him. We were supposed to be, I guess, it was something Latino and one black gentleman, and we're like, what is
We're like,
this?
what did this guy
And
bring?
he's like, press the button. You press the button, and they just go back and forth, and they try to like make a rap song. He goes, the hip hop boys, the hip hop boys, and I was like, the hip hop.
I wanted to look at him like, "Sir, just get out of our store, please."
I wanted to take the
Take
thing
these
and-
with you. This
and
is
be like, I just wanted to talk to him. I'm like, you're kidding me that you're bringing this into us right now. Like, he goes, the hip hop boys, he's just the older man. And I'm just like, no.
I'm like, sir, I want you to look around, see the toys we sell and what you just brought into us, because I feel like we can't even.
I couldn't.
Is there swastikas on this thing somewhere? I was like, Jesus.
I was like, sell this thing. I'm so sorry. And, he would come like every day. That guy came like
he came back for like a couple of days trying to still sell them.
He still kept coming every day.
I'm like, dude, I don't.
Fork and spoon.
I don't want to be seen with these. Get away from me.
I'm like, I can't have you in here.
This is like something out of the History Channel where they're like, yeah, we can't show this. I'm like, this was bad. I'm like, don't. Yeah. That's not even close to what we saw. I'm like, if you would have brought like, I don't know, like a Superman or Spider-Man, then yeah. I'm like, but I don't know what you saw that this
comes in. He comes in. There's a white hood from the KKK.
Yeah, right.
So adding to what Danny just asked you guys, like, what, considering that those are the craziest things, what was the actual thing that you guys actually bought that you're like, oh damn, we need to have this?
I think I'm gonna list two. So one was Hollow Ichigo, which was from an anime called Bleach. That pop, if you're a pop collector, you know that's pretty hard to find. And we were going through someone's collection, we spotted it, and you know it. When you see a certain thing, like if you know a certain toy that's super expensive and you want it in your collection, the minute you see anything like a feature of it, we saw the white hair and the red eyes, and I looked at my brother looked at me, and I'm just like,
it's
oh
like
my
those
God.
Timberlands or those Nikes that you're just like.
Yeah, and then the second one would have to be the Batman bank robber from The Dark Knight. It's the Heath Ledger where he's wearing the bank robber mask.
Yeah, the clown mask.
And that one was. It's now see a lot of pops get faked, so you kind of start to know when people have fake ones because it'll be like, okay, you have a lot of new pops, but you have this one pop that's supposed to be old. That's a little too.
You gotta do your work in this business.
Yeah.
How can you tell
But people will just like I've seen like on. When they fake Jordans and they have the Jordan with the ball in the back end instead of the little top end.
Oh, dude, those pictures on social media are hilarious.
But you get that stuff. We had a guy come in and sell and pull out what we call grails because they're over $100. They're big pops. He pulled out like 6 or 7 of them. I was like,
and it was too good to be true.
Scarface. It was the Ghost from from what movie was that?
Ghostface. Yeah, Scream
from Scream, and another pop, and we're like,
it was like an Eddie Munson at the time, which was like really big.
There's no way these are all real. There's no way. And
yeah.
Chris like, hold on. And he looks. He goes, yeah, this is fake.
This
is fake. This is fake.
What made me knew that it was fake was one of them. I saw the box and I was like, you see these behind us, right? Like you can see the box. The printing is all nice. It was like faded. It looked like he printed it out of like his printer.
You're like, wait,
cardboard.
Hold on,
yeah.
hold on.
Yeah, it was bad, and I look at him and I'm like, and he came in very excited,
ready to buy the store.
I'm gonna buy the store.
You guys. I'm gonna trade. You're gonna love these. I'm like,
he told his wife, he's like, pick out any case of what you want, and I'm just like, all right, dude, calm down.
Before you ever pick anything out, we're gonna let you know right now.
Let's see what you have.
So what was his response when he said,
we told him we're like, these are fake, dude, and he was just like,
right? He's like, oh, I know.
Oh, do you still want to buy them?
Yeah, do you still want to buy them?
What do you mean you're trying to sell fakes to us? Like, and then I think later we saw that he was at a show, and we're just like, that's bad.
Don't
that's
shop
bad.
with that guy over there because
you're selling fakes.
Like, he was at a show selling them?
We caught him at 2 different shows.
Still trying to sell those pops and the other ones, and I'm like, you lost your credibility. And here, when you're a collector and you're selling in like collectible shows, the minute you're caught with anything fake or anything anything just bad about you, people know. People will find out.
You'll get shut down fast.
Do you take it as a responsibility to let people know that that's fake, or do you just kind of go, you know what, I'm gonna keep quiet? Okay.
We have to.
Yeah. Have you guys ever gotten into, like, for example, let's say that guy would have known that you guys are outing him? Is there any conflict there? Like, what happened?
I don't think we've ever had that, but I mean, there has been times where we tell people, we're like, you got not to be mean about it, but that guy's selling not real Funkos, but I mean, just watch out.
I think like, all right, we had a guy come in and he was selling a Rocky Balboa pop.
Oh my God! Yeah.
It was the original Rocky Balboa. It's like $200-something, and he brought it in. The box was all messed up and it was taped up.
Think of it as have you ever seen Ace Ventura when he's delivering the mail? That's basically what.
It was like that. So we were like, I was like, listen, I'll buy the pop from you for like $50 because I could sell the pop, and I have to take it out the box. I could probably sell for up at $50, whatever, and I can get some for. No, I can. It says I can get $200 for it. I was like, I have to tell you right now, this is not sellable. This box is no good.
Yeah, it was yellow. Then he had like tape. The box is supposed to be white. He had like actual like tape on it, and it wasn't ripped. So I was like, why do you have tape? And he was just like, I want this much money for it. And we're like, well, let's see what it is. And in my head, every time we get a damaged pop, sometimes I automatically will look at him and I'm like, if I know I can fix it, I'll clean it up, fix it up, take off the paint off of it. I know we can restore it and we can sell it for more. I'm like, but I saw this guy's stuff and I'm like, I don't think so. And I just looked at him. I'm like, this guy's asking. He's like, yeah, I want this much for this. And I'm like, that's if it was in good condition. I'm like, you gotta, not to be mean, but dude, you gotta look at what it says. Like,
people think they just come in and be like, oh, I want top dollar for all this busted stuff. I'm like, sorry, sorry, can't do it.
And we get people in who like, not seem like we're being jerks about it, but I mean, we get people in who expect like these really big prices, and I'm like, listen, we're not Pawn Stars here. We're not going to you $2,000 or all this money. I'm like, if we had that much money, we wouldn't be here. I'm like, we wouldn't be in this town, But
you can't give me $10,000 right now.
Yeah. And I'm like,
man, fuck this shit. I'm getting out of here. Right?
Like, if you think I just carry that much money, but we get people like that all the time. We get people who just they expect more, and we're just like, listen, this is how it really works. This is not. We're not going to be able to give you this, and it's because we got to make this certain type of money off of it.
I wish we could be like, would you like that in cash or check?
Right.
Take that in rupees.
I have to add one more because Chris, I think, forgot one. One of our most expensive pieces, I think, was the Power Rangers had these swords that they used to have.
Oh yeah.
And this gentleman came in, brought all his Power Ranger stuff.
No. It was an older lady. She came in, and then that
time
was
out
that
for
guy.
a second.
Yeah.
I'm a Power Rangers guy. When you say swords, that could mean an actual sword, or it could be their ships. Which one are you talking about?
So it was the Green Ranger flute dagger.
The flute dagger.
Yeah, and then we had the White Ranger tiger
sword.
Yep. And then we had the Red Ranger gun that was like
the laser, the zapper. Yeah.
And then we had the morphers. We had a whole
with the coins.
Yep, and they were like metal die cast, like full on.
They were the die cast ones.
Major Chub.
They were the die-cast ones. And we were sitting here one day, and we were watching something on...
it was on Netflix. It's called The Toys That Made Us.
Oh, I love that show.
Good show. If you're a collector,
and
watch it.
And when he says, now, look at these swords that had... Who made them?
So they were talking about Bandai and the making of, Power Rangers, and they're like, these were the original toys. And beforehand, we had gotten this lady who was like, I'm a preschool teacher. I bring in toys, and these are from 1993, and I just want to get rid of them because the kids don't play with this stuff. I'm like, okay, and she brought them in. She had the original Morpher coins, every Power Ranger, including the giant Build-A-Sets with the flippable head ones. She brought us all of it, so we cleaned those up. They were pretty much perfect. Like stickers were perfect, and later on, this guy comes in. And what happened
it's funny, though, as I was like, why are we buying coins from her, though? Chris, like, they're worth money. I'm like, I just don't see anything in these coins. Would you believe it? In like 10 minutes, a kid came in. He goes, how much for all these coins?
But all of them for like $100.
We literally sold every one of those coins for over $100.
Nice. Each?
No.
For all of them? Oh, okay. I was like, holy
and I was like... Are you kidding? Coins?
Yeah. So like from then on,
when I first
when you first started,
and from then on, I was
Power Rangers and stuff like that. And I was just like,
I would look at from like then on. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna say sometimes. I'm like, trust me, you just gotta. I just know. I'm like, not trying to sound cocky, but I'm like, there's just some things you just when you're collecting, certain things are worth something. They gotta be worth something. And I told him, when someone brings something in, I'm gonna tell you, trust me, we need to get it, and he'll be like, all right, that's all I need to know. So when that happened, I just told him, I was like, we need to get this. I'm like, something's just we need to, and he was like, all right. And after that, we kept that lady stuff for like a while, and we had it in here when we were just like building this store out, and then some guy comes in.
But we went to C2E2 and we sold all the swords and everything after that.
Oh, I can imagine. So yeah.
C2E2 and these are like $300-$400 swords, and they were.
Well, this wasn't so. We had the original toys for a while. Yeah. Then we were clean. We had some guy come in, and he goes, listen. He goes, I'm just trying to get rid of some toys. I have a baby on the way. I just need some money for it right now. And we're like, all right, well, what do you have? And he brings in some Power Ranger stuff, and they're all die cast, like all the morphers. Then he had the White Ranger and the Green Ranger morpher comes with the coins, and they're heavy. So, like, everything looks amazing. He has his bright green boxes. He's like, they're the original old ones, you know. I had them for a long time, but I can't keep them. And we're like, all right, cool. And we're about to close, and he's like, listen, I want to do it for this much. And we're like, all right, cool. Well, we can give you this much because we know you're having a baby. We know, things happen in life, and you need money for certain things, and you just sell some stuff. We're like, so we understand. So we gave him a little extra more cash, and he was like, thank you. And he was like, here you go. And once he left, we were just like, let's look at this stuff. We started cleaning everything up, putting batteries. We're like, man, everything's like perfect. We're like, holy cow, this is cool.
And as we dug deeper, we found out that they were worth a little bit more.
Yeah, and that wasn't until we were seeing. I was seeing right here because we had this all. We were still figuring this out, and I had the TV on and we're cleaning, and I'm watching the Toys That Made Us, and they're talking about the original toys that were popular, and they're like, if you had this or this and this, and I'm like,
it's what you're holding in your hand.
I'm looking at it. I'm cleaning
nice.
it. And I'm like, holy cow. I'm like, wait, this is what we have. And I'm looking at my dad. I'm like, you need to see this. And he's watching, and he goes, holy cow. And I'm looking at the set.
Look at this. Oh my God, are you serious? And they stopped selling those swords because kids in Japan were killing themselves.
Yeah, it was because it was so pointy that kids were playing around and people were ended up being killed. Because,
oh, wow.
Shit. Yeah, so they
were really getting stabbed.
We're like, yeah, we got the band toys. Let's go. Like, the toys that should be on shelves.
That was it.
Those become like grails.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean,
and everybody walks in the store like, what are those that you have? Are those even? Oh my God.
Yeah, and we brought those to C2E2, or I think it was our second time going to C2, because this is when we had our first booth. We sold those immediately, and we had them like high prices. Some were 600, 400, and they. 600,
the cool thing about those items is they lend credibility to your store.
Yeah.
Because then like people go, if they have these, what else do they have?
Yeah.
And then that's how you end up with a lot of people like that.
Yes.
As we segue over, I'm kind of curious because there's a poster here sitting on the table.
Yes.
And it's Romeo Con number 3. Let's talk about Romeo Con number 1. So now you guys are starting to kind of get things rolling. You guys have a successful store. You've been to several shows now. Now you're seeing how things are running. Yeah. At what point in time does Romeo Con become a reality? Where does the brain, where's the seed, so to speak, get planted and grown to become Romeo Con?
Well, I think what happened was we had our store going. And I said, I wish we had we wish we had a bigger store. I just wanted a bigger store. We'd done a couple of shows. We spoke to a couple of promoters. We got out. We went to these toy shows, Toy Con, Collector Con, and, all these other little shows and stuff. And we're like, what can we do around here? There's nothing around here. This is suburbs. Yeah. South suburbs. What's going on out here? Nothing.
And the mayor had came by like the store a couple times because he was starting to visit us often and just see how the store was going. And he was like, it'd be cool if you guys had a convention out here. And we're thinking the same thing. I was like, but what would we call it? And then we were just like, Romeo Con. It's right there in the name, kind of. I'm like, but something in the area. I'm like, we need. He's like, we need to attract people to the area. He's like, I'm into collecting. You're into collecting. I think that's something that can be fun for families and everything. So we can just have something that people can have a good time at.
Yeah.
And it started building up a little by us, going with the idea and thinking, okay, well, what can we do? How many vendors should we have? Where should this take place? Where are we going to put it? And he recommended us I think it was the Athletic Center. And we just started building
up. At that time, we didn't bring anybody in to sign. We didn't even know about bringing people in to sign.
Yeah, we were just doing vendors.
This is our first year having our store open. We didn't have no one to sign. We were just like, let's just bring in as many vendors as we can. And this is 2021.
So right after COVID a little, when everything was starting to get better and people were doing stuff,
we, January 18th, 2021, or 2022, 2022, everyone started coming out, and it was so crazy. We were setting up and we see a line starting. And Chris is like, Dad, we're a little short on some stuff on our table. I'm going to run back to the store because our store is only blocks away.
Me and my brother Adrian were like, okay, we're at the booth, we're set up. We're like, dude, we have so much time. Because we had done shows before, and we're like, we have a lot of time in the morning to get a little more stuff ready before people start coming in. And we're like, oh man, dude, we finished early. I'm like, let's go get some more stuff. We had this giant stormtrooper that we have, the sign, and we're like, let's bring it in. We'll put it by the entrance. It's going to be awesome, And as we're leaving, we're like, we see all these people lined up, and then we go outside, and they're lined up like around the building, and we're
going
like
down the block, going around, wrapping around the building. We're like,
and at the time, me and my brother are like, are they here for like the soccer convention? There's like the soccer thing. And I thought it was a tournament. I was like, maybe it's the parents. I was like, who are they for? I'm like, if it's for us, that's crazy. And he's like, I think they're here for us. And then we ran back inside. We're like, you gotta see the line. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, there's a line out there. I'm like, for us.
We stopped the line 12 times like that day for capacity.
Oh, wow.
12 times.
Damn.
We had close to 4,000 people show up. And when we let the doors open, we let the floodgates open, we were just like, holy cow.
I remember because our booth is like
Holy
right
cow.
here, and then you have the door, because you have the door, and then you walk in, right? We're right here, and we're looking at the door, and they're still like helping people get tickets. And I'm watching, I'm giving people like, you know, their bag and stuff, and I'm just like, Adrian, it's still going, which is my brother. I'm looking at him, and I'm like, do you see it? I'm like, it's still going, dude. Holy cow.
I had some other guys helping, and it was like us four. Like, if we were all here and we spread apart 5-10 feet, we were standing that far from close to each other, and we couldn't even see each other because it was people just everywhere.
Yeah. Just a mob.
It was people were walking sideways, and I was like, you know, we just stopped.
And the line just kept refilling. We were thinking, okay, it's going to stop, and it's going to be
thought
like
it
maybe
would
5
stop.
people.
We were there till 5 o'clock. The line didn't stop till almost 3 o'clock. And then we still at 4 o'clock we stopped collecting.
So let me ask you
So
this.
there's a bunch of stragglers still coming in.
Yeah.
So anytime I hear stories like this, being a wrestling fan, I always compare things to the first WrestleMania and the interviews that Vince McMahon did, where he was talking about the fear and of flopping and like all the money that he put in there. Going into this convention, what was that? Did you guys have any fear that it wouldn't do well? Were you guys in danger of potentially going in too deep that you guys wouldn't have succeeded?
No, because we didn't have anybody doing signings. Because the signings you have guarantee money.
Yeah,
you have to guarantee people money. We only had vendors, and we did our promoting. We did our online promoting, and we said.
I think what helped was we had such a great flyer. We had someone make a flyer that pretty much got the point of like, this is a toy show, anything like nerdy if you're
it looked
into
like a comic book.
Yeah.
Our first one looked like a comic book.
I think that helped us because we were like, I think our biggest fear was like, are people going to come to this? Are there going to be a lot of people that we're expecting?
Snowing.
And it was winter. We're like, who's going to want to come out? Like, you know, it's after the pandemic. Who's going to... You know, like, this is kind of scary, but I mean, it wasn't. I don't think it was
the first time. I think that everybody kind of was in one room, in a big room together. So we were like a little hesitant, like, man, what if people are afraid still?
What if they say this is like
it proved us wrong
down or something?
They proved us wrong. Romeoville came and they showed up.
Oh, it was awesome.
Romeoville came and they showed up. I was like, all right, okay, we just found that hidden gem. I think.
So now after that, are you thinking like, this can possibly be like a yearly thing, like
yes, and when you get a phone call from the mayor and he says, so for the next one, I think I think we should get some of this and get some of that, and I'm just like,
and what's funny to
did the town help you guys, by the way?
They help us out in many ways.
Yeah, they shared the flyer and did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we had a bunch of events, but what was funny was after every show is we've always do this thing where we're like, oh, we're gonna go home, we're gonna celebrate after a show. If you're doing a show, that never happens. We go home, we knock out for like hours, we get up, we go to the kitchen, we're like,
what happened?
That was a great show, wasn't it? I'm like, oh my god, that was amazing.
Everyone's quiet. And
everyone's like,
who's gonna
sleep.
talk first and say something about the show? I'm like, good show, huh? And it was like, oh yeah.
And then, your wife is proud of you guys, and what did she think about that? Like seeing you guys basically next to the level.
She was like, "This is insane. This is crazy." She was baffled. She was just like, "Oh my god." So she's like, "Yeah, you guys have built something, and it's gonna become good in the future.
Yeah.
This is you guys. You know,
it's a moneymaker now.
You started Romeo Con.
I know she told me. She said this is something she always says whenever we make some good money. She's like, sushi money? Are we going out to eat?
She went from steak to sushi.
Yeah,
and that's the running joke all the time. Whenever we're about to do a show, if we're about to make good money, I go, sushi money? Where are we going after this? And she'll laugh. And so I think that's always the one thing that we always joke about. But
so then, what did you guys do different from Romeo Con 2 than 1?
So what were the lessons learned?
Yeah.
So do you want to say it?
Yeah. Well, really, let me start here. We didn't learn our lesson until the second one. what we did is we planned it on another day, on a day that another big anime show was coming to Chicago, Anime Midwest,
Okay.
and didn't know about it. So I was charging people, and I have 5 or 6 people coming in, top people coming in, anime guys coming to do autographs. This is when we first were like, hey, we did this, now let's up it a little bit more.
Yeah,
and
because
let's
we were
bring
getting
some-
asked by people like, you should bring some voice actors, and we're like,
and we're
that's
like,
a great
bring voice
idea.
actors, and we're like, and I'm like, Chris, what is he talking about? Voice? He's like, yeah, for anime, we could bring them in. And I was like, oh, well, how do we do that? He goes, I don't know, let's start. So we literally, we from the ground up.
Went to conventions, we're asking people, we were annoying people. I didn't care if we cut the line. We're like, listen, I'm not here to talk to you. I need to talk to your manager. We want to know how to book you. I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing it. I'm pretty sure I was doing
First
it the
person
wrong
he met
way.
was Naruto.
Yeah. Well, maybe
Brother,
Flanagan.
we can relate.
Maylee Flanagan from Naruto. And she was so nice. So, hi, thank you for giving us the chance. And look where we're at now. Thank you.
Yep.
We owe you.
Yep, she was super nice, and
yes,
she gave us
yes.
some, she told us about some things, how to do this and how to book people, and it was really nice, and it helped us a lot. And I mean, it built it till now.
They were in a line at C2E2 waiting to see her.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't let them lose this. I have to go up there and help them sell her and try to get her on or try to get some kind of connect.
Yeah,
I
because
can't.
we were
'Cause
trying to talk to people too.
the
and
younger
we just-
generation, they're like, oh, let me get your Instagram, let me do this, and that's how they talk.
Oh my god, that's my brother. I
You
ain't say it like
never,
that.
my other son never wants to talk on the phone, never wants to talk to nobody at the store. He just wants
Can I
to-
send you a telegram?
Yeah. What's your Instagram? Hold on, I got a question to ask. I'm like, so I went up there and I was like, hi, Miley, how are you? I'm your father. We just opened a store, Midwest Collectibles, and we'd love to have you come out. We know you're very busy. She's like, I love doing small cons. I would love to come to your convention. And we're like,
What? We're like, this is Naruto.
so we're like, wait, can other
You get offended. What do you mean small?
right? What are you talking about?
like, thank you, but what do you mean by that?
But she was really nice, and then she's like, if I can't come, I'm gonna give you a couple of connects, and I'll take care of you guys.
Yeah, and then also
That's how it started.
Also, we were later on, me and my brother, we were in another line, and we had thought, because some lines they don't really tell you whether you can buy online or if you can just pay there, and we're like, okay, we were told that you can pay there, and we're like, all right, we're gonna go meet Zachary Levi, Shazam, and we were in line for that, and we were in there for like a couple hours. It had to be like four hours, I think, and some guy starts talking to us with he's trying to get some cape signed. He's got like a whole cast or something of people signing, and he goes, we just started talking with him. Me and my brother are like, who's this old guy? He's a little weird. I'm like, but I was like, he seems nice, but you could tell this guy was
I was
rich
like,
because
did he have candy for you guys or what?
he was showing us.
I have a van out back.
Says I have candy in the van.
Real quick, I have some
Funko Pops.
I have action figures in there if you want to. No, but he goes, he starts
Chris is like, I'm
talking-
coming your way.
He's like, Stan Lee. I'm like, where? No, but we're talking about stuff, and he goes, want to see my collection? He's showing us on his phone. This guy literally had like a museum in his basement. I'm like, he had everything signed by like the biggest people you can think of, and I'm just like, oh my god, this guy is freaking rich. I'm like, wow, like must be nice. But then he starts, telling us about people he works with, and he's asking us, what do we do? And I'm like, we have a store, and we're up and coming, and we're trying to build this, and we're just trying to get people's info so we can, do something like our own conventions. I was like, but we're a family business. I said, so, we're trying to do this on our own and figure it out. And he goes, well, you know what? I like that. He goes, thank you for telling me your story. We told him the pandemic because he was asking us everything. We're like, all right, cool. So I had to give him the good old story how he tells it. I had to tell it from his view for some reason. But I'm telling him.
Your story is completely different. Well, I told my father.
My idea was shut down, but let me tell you the other one.
And I put my foot down and I said, this is what we're doing, Dad. God damn it.
Yeah, and so I'm telling him.
He's behind me, isn't he?
And so we're telling this guy, and he goes, you know what? He goes, I love your story. I love what you're trying to do, and you guys seem like you got something. And I was like, thank you. I was like, we're just trying to do what we can, and try and build this up. And he goes, you guys are trying to get wrestlers, right? And I said, yeah. And he goes, well, I have a buddy. He goes, he knows a lot of wrestlers. And I go, oh, okay. I look at my brother. I'm like, who is this guy? I'm like, I wonder who he's talking about. And he goes, here, I'm going to give you a contact. I probably shouldn't. He goes, but I'm good friends with him, and tell him that I sent you. He goes, his name is, I think it was like Dave Hero. He was like,
Hero.
here you go. He goes, give him a call sometime. And we're like, me and my brother look at each other, and he's telling us all these people, and he goes, he knows people like, The Undertaker. He's booked people like Ric Flair, and I'm looking at my brother, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, who did we just... And I was like, thank you. I was like, thank you for, helping us out. I was like, you don't even know us. I was like, but
I'm
thank
curious.
you for giving us
Did
a
you guys
shot.
get this old man's name?
Huh?
Did you guys get this old man's name?
I totally forgot. He didn't tell us, no.
Didn't tell you guys?
No. All I know is he was an older guy with glasses, and he was there with his wife. And he was there collecting a bunch of Marvel stuff. So I don't know if that means something.
Yeah.
If that
No,
person-
I was just curious
but
because I was like, I wonder if he's one of the boys or
But he was like, I don't think he collected, but he was just like, I have a friend who collects and who does stuff and who manages people. He goes, here you go. And eventually we got up to the line. We were still in line by this time. So we get up there and they're like, we're not taking cash. You guys need to leave. And I'm just like, okay, you should have told us when we asked the guy like back there. But we're like, hey, at least we got someone's, at least we got someone we can work through, and that's another contact that can probably help us. And we left that line, and he was like, it was good meeting you guys. I was like, thank you. I was like, guess we didn't get to go through the line, but at least we got to meet someone. And we left, and we told my dad we're over here writing to my dad, and we have this thing that we joke around a lot. We call whenever we do something really good or we have something really awesome, we go to my dad and we go, how much do you love us, or how much do you love me? And he'll be like, what did you do? And I'm like, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? And
Yeah.
I tell him, I go, some guy just said that he gave us a number for a guy who can book people like Undertaker and people like that. I was like, oh my God, and we were just in line. It was like we were even, I don't know.
It's crazy because you get when you're in these lines at some of these cons, you get guys that show you the love, that show you not love like that, but I mean, it's like they'll lead you they'll try to lead you down the right way.
You just never know who you'll meet.
That's
you
true.
know.
So I'm kind of glad that he took his number and everything, and we've called him before. There was times where he didn't have nobody for us,
Or
And
it was
we're
just
still young, so we don't have the $20,000 to bring somebody out, or
Yeah.
$40,000 to bring somebody out. But we made that phone call before. I mean, like,
and of course, we said the questions that everybody likes to ask. How much is this person? I gotta know. I know I can't afford it, but I have to know. And you're just like, please, just tell me. I gotta know. And you're like, you hear some of these numbers, and you're like, wow, like, it makes sense to him, But,
and they require this, and they require that, and they require. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's insane, right?
all you
So
hear
really,
is,
it's this much. Yeah, it's like it's building up.
oh
in
my
your
God.
head.
Yeah, it's like a tally, man. It's like going to freaking Sam's Club and you think you're gonna go in there for one or two things and walk out of there like spending $500. Like, Jesus,
Because you're not just paying for their price. You're paying for their price. You're paying for maybe a first class ticket.
Yeah.
Maybe a 5-star hotel. And
And their food and whoever's coming with them. It's a lot. I mean,
It
I
adds
don't.
up.
And that goes with our conventions too. I don't think a lot of people think about is that came with Romeo Con too. When we were bringing people out, we dug ourselves in kind of a hole with how many people we were bringing, because they were big people at the time. There were some big voice actors from Naruto and Attack on Titan, Dragon Ball Z that were big characters that were just at like New York Comic Con, and we were bringing them to this small town that had like maybe 5 or 6 people. And a lot of people didn't get that. Our mistake was we made the door price too high, and it was about like $20, which is pretty big for a small show. But in our case, it kind of made sense because it's like you don't understand how much money we're putting in to bring in these big guests. We're not Walmart. We're not Target. We're a small family of 5 trying to bring in like someone like I'm trying to think of like John Cena or something like that. Like. These are big people, and we're putting our money into it. And if this is the risk, and it goes like what you were saying about the whole Vince McMahon thing, like, when you're doing shows sometimes it's like, this has to work or else I don't know what I'm going to do. Because, sometimes shows are the big money maker, and they help. If you have a small business and you're doing something on the side, you depend on the shows. And that goes with vendors, too. Vendors go to these shows, and sometimes they depend on that show to work because that may pay their bills. That may pay for their new collection, and it's scary.
Believe you
sometimes.
me, we did get it. We did get a lot of feedback from the community.
Yeah.
And there were some people that were kind of a little upset, and bashed us, and and I'm just like they're just not understanding.
And
it's not the whole community. No, it's not.
Yeah, no.
It's just a few of those certain people.
You can't make everybody happy, man.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't.
But we took it to heart. It hurt us, but because we didn't do, I think we did like 2,200 people that whole weekend, and we were just heartbroken, man. And then to see when you're scrolling on social media and you see that conversation is about you guys, you're just like, damn.
Yeah, and it sucked because
down,
we were like, we can take criticism, and it's like, people are gonna say and tell you what, and it's like, okay, that's fine. Yeah. But when people are saying like this store is ripping off people and trying to hurt the community, that hurt us because it was like, dude, we're a family. Like we're not even.
We love Romeoville. We love.
I can't own a store, man. I would have been on social media like, oh, listen here, motherfucker.
It's like, and we can't. Of course, we can't do that. But I mean, we were like, we are the community, though. You guys
Get a
don't
burner
understand.
account like Kevin Durant.
And it's like we are the community. We want to bring good things to you guys.
And we try to explain to people like you got to pay for their food. You got to do this. I'm like, do you know how much money went to this person? Do you know how much money went to this person? I'm like, we're not trying to be assholes, but we're trying to let you know, like, this is what goes into it. I'm like, the reason why C2E2 and all of them could do it is because they got the money. They've done it multiple times. They built their own, following.
And nobody will ask them, well, why are you charging $80? Yeah. No, they just go and pay the $80 and pay.
You don't go up to Sting and C2E2 and ask them, hey, can I get a signature for free? That's not how it works.
Exactly.
Things cost money. Things cost things. I'm like, and people didn't understand that, and it sucked when we were getting bashed online because it was like, wow, we stayed up nights. We put our own work into this.
There were some people that came to our help, though. They came to our side and said, you guys don't understand. These guys did a terrific show, and for what you guys were going to pay for was dirt cheap. Was dirt cheap. And so the next day what we did was we changed the price back down to like $12 for everybody to get it. And then a lot of people showed up and they were
so they were complaining about you guys going from like $10, $12 to $20. I think $20 is fine.
Yeah. And we had to tell them too, we're like we're providing not just toy vendors, we're bringing a little bit of everything. We're bringing voice actors, we're doing cosplay contest. We're bringing it to this big hall, and we're bringing big names. Yeah. And we're like, that's what people need to.
Big names to a town out here, south suburbs, where you don't get stuff like that.
There was like maybe what four people from the 6 that never even been to Chicago. We're bringing them to the suburbs for you. People are like, man, that's like right behind my house. I'm like, yeah, it's literally at your back door. Yeah. I'm like, we're bringing them for you, and people are like quick to automatically, say what they, bash us. And I'm like, you just have to understand that there's more to it. And yeah, it's easy to say that about C2E2 because those companies, they could do whatever they want.
They got millions of dollars, bro.
I'm like, but when you say about us, I'm like, it just sucks because we put so much work into it. And things may go wrong. I said, but that's why we learn to make it better for the next show. And I think Romeo Con 3 is a good example because we fixed a lot of things. We try to make sure that it was an understandable price for people. We brought a good amount of people, and that we put a lot of things into this convention that we're excited about. It's whether it's panels, cosplay contests, prizes for the.
What are the major changes from the previous cons to this one?
That's what I was gonna ask. So then you had
definitely door price.
Obviously, because Romeo Con 1 was a big success.
Yeah.
Romeo Con 2 wasn't the success you guys thought it would be and wanted it to be.
There's a lot of parallels to WrestleMania 1 and 2, huh?
Yeah. So now, Romeo Con 3.
You got your Hogan and Andre in Romeo Con 3, baby!
So I got, I'm looking at the flyer here. One, you guys got a great lineup here. Tickets are only $10. What is it that you guys, obviously we see from here what you're doing different, but what else? What other avenues are you doing differently?
What we did was we brought in panels. A lot of people were asking for panels. Yeah. See, what we did was we hit our Instagram, and right after RomeoCon 2, and we asked, please give your feedback on what you thought of RomeoCon 2. We'd love to hear what you think, and we'd love to make changes to it and make it bigger and better next year.
And we told people, we're like, please don't sit there and just lash to, say whatever and just bash us. I'm like, give your honest opinion. Let us know, like, hey, this is what I felt could have been better. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it, but let us know because we're trying to start out. We're trying to do it right, and
Yeah.
you know, we're here to talk with people and figure out.
This is where you can make a
Yeah.
change, where you can impact.
And of course, there's those people that say whatever, and you're just like motherfucker. So you're like, but you got to be professional because then all it takes is for
That's,
one person
that's
to
when
be
you
like,
take a screenshot and put it on the wall and be like, this person's not allowed next year. Or this guy pays full price.
Yeah.
and then it
What,
sucks
what
is
kind
like,
of feedback are you guys getting now? So far.
a lot of it, I think, is I think
So far, yes, this is what we've been looking for. Yes, this is what we want. Yes, the price is great. It's $10 to get in, to get 17 people to give you autographs, take pictures with them.
yeah, kids are free too.
$10.
Veterans are free.
Kids on 10 and under are free. Veterans are free. Police officers, they're free. I mean, just about everything's free except for, the adults. I mean, $10. This is a show that would be put on downtown, and you'd have to pay at least $100 per
Easily.
person.
Yeah.
To get
You
in.
have to pay for parking. You have to
I
pay
was
for
about to say,
passes,
yep.
food,
Yep.
and food is like what? Maybe a water is like $8 or
Water
more.
is $8 in C2E2. A meal is $15 to $20.
You're almost gonna have to pay just to even use the bathroom at some
We
point.
got
I mean,
food
they
inside,
put-
and we're gonna have two trucks outside. One
Yep.
taco truck and another truck out there.
Danny's going to be hitting up the taco
know
truck
where I'll
all
be.
day.
Yep.
I know where I'll be.
Anybody doing autograph signings next to the taco truck?
So
now-
it's just we what we did was we listened to our fans and we answered them back as soon as they left wrote down what they sent us what they wanted, what we wanted, what their opinion. We listened to them and we answered their questions and we said we appreciate your feedback. We're gonna try to work hard and bring this to you next year.
Yeah, and I think the other thing was, I think our big goal too was how to look professional. A lot of cons when you're starting, it happens all the time. I think with our cons too. I mean,
Yeah.
you get places where people have old broken wood tables in, like, let's say an old hall where it's all damaged,
stuff all over the floor and stuff like
In
that.
a barn, huh?
Yeah, flickering light.
This year we're telling you get a 10 by 10 foot spot, you get a table, you get 2 chairs. We're asking you to get a tablecloth. We're asking you to bring a ton of stuff because Romeo Con 1, I don't know if anybody knows, but people were getting sold out at 12:30,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
and we
They
opened the
weren't
doors
prepared.
at 10.
Yeah.
People were emptying their boxes of all the inventory and then just leaving boxes and scraps after the show.
And I'll tell you what, we would walk down an aisle and all you see was boxes in the middle of the aisle.
And the thing is about shows is when you do good, this happens a lot. We have it. People will come up to you and praise you like you're the best person in the
Best
world.
show we ever did.
Oh my God,
I know
sign me
2
up.
people did our show. That was our first show that they did, and they couldn't believe it. They're like, if this is the way the shows are, I'm continuing.
So
the
they thought
shows.
every show we're like, whoa, we
I'm
didn't
like,
even
no.
know this was gonna happen.
I'm
Like,
no,
please,
not every
don't,
show's like this. Don't
raise your
you know.
hopes. Like we didn't
Yeah.
even. So we just had to play along. Like, yeah, we did.
We were thinking, okay, 1,500 people for our first show. Yeah, maybe okay, cool. But when that amount of people show up with those numbers, it's just like you're just like, holy cow! People were walking into the place and walking back out with bags and stuff. Bags. I'm not talking about 3, 4 bags. I'm talking about 10, 15 bags. Putting them in their trunk, locking
coming
it,
back in and
coming back
spending
in.
again.
Yeah.
It was just nuts. It was.
You're talking about a
Phenomenal.
person that I've been to numerous conventions, whether horror conventions, comic conventions, just like that. And we know people like me that are collectors. We know when we walk into these places what's in our wallet. Mm-hmm. We know that we are going to go and hunt for those like grails first.
I gotta stop you there.
Go ahead.
We don't know what's in our wallet.
No, I'm saying the collector, the one that's going in there. I'm going in there going with a budget for my weekend. You know what I mean?
Wait. And that's what I'm saying. You don't know what's in your wallet. You want to know what's on your credit card because you're already past the wallet. You're already past the wallet, and what happens after the cash is gone?
Oh man, that's where the decisions
so
are made, right?
there, you don't even worry about the money. Right there, you're thinking, "What's on my credit card? What's on my credit? Okay, all right, I have this much."
Or you gotta check your mom and be like, hey, listen, I'm about to spend a little more money, but this is very
and you're not even
important.
halfway through the show. You're not even halfway through the show, and
that's true.
you're already on $300.
Me and my
He
buddies
always
always wait till the last day of the con when all the vendors are making their like sales.
That's
when
my
they're like,
best time.
"Hey, we're leaving." I know you don't want to leave with that shit. You just gotta load it back in your car, man.
Just to let you guys know, Javier has a black credit card with an unlimited amount. In case you guys want to talk to him before
It has
that
my
weekend
wife's
ends.
name on it, though, dude.
Okay, just to let you guys know.
You're like, in that
Okay.
case, do you want Midwest Collectibles?
But no, man. As we start winding down here, already, man. Please tell everyone about Romeo Con 3. Give dates. What can they expect? Talk about it.
So Romeo Con 3 is coming to the Athletic Center, same place it has been for the last 2 years. We have upgraded a lot of our stuff. We're doing panels. We're doing cosplay contests. We're doing 2 cosplay contests each day. I believe there's over $2,000 in prizes. And we will have an artist alley, which will be in a separate room. Then we have our other vendors in the big main room. And the people that are signing autographs, all the celebrities and stars, will be signing autographs in the same room as the vendors. So my thing, their tickets are only $10. You go to RomeoCon.com and they're only $10 a piece. But if you want to upgrade and get the VIP, you get a bag, you'll get a couple things in the bag, probably a t-shirt or so, a lanyard, and the badge, our first official badge, which we're very
You'll get some cool
very
exclusive
proud
badge.
about. Very proud about.
The badges are designed by your favorite,
Chris Sandavol.
But
that badge, the VIP package will get you in a half hour early for both days. We also have a guy coming and doing trivia. He's coming doing trivia for the beginning of the show. So if you get there a half hour early and nobody's ready or whatever, or people are waiting around, go to the other side and you'll hop into the trivia room and he'll be doing some trivia with everybody, which I thought was fantastic for the con.
That's cool.
After that, you can just you get to head to the lines and start getting your autographs and stuff like that. After that, you can start looking around. We're also going to get some. We're talking about doing some video games, buying some TVs, and then what we're going to do is we're going to
Tell me where Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is playing. And I'll be the one. That there's a huge line behind me of people waiting to get their ass kicked.
What we want to do is we want to raffle those TVs off also, so you could win a TV.
Just give it to me now, dude.
Take a TV home with you. You know what I'm saying? I know you gentlemen will be there helping us out with our panels for the wrestling.
What? Did you just drop
shit.
some knowledge?
Oh shit!
Yes.
Breaking
Breaking
news.
Breaking news, people.
Yes, we
Breaking
will have you
news.
guys at Romeo Con helping us out with the wrestling panels, and I believe you will be having a booth at our show.
Yeah, that's right. We have some stuff that we might be selling, some stuff, some really unique things that I'm working on. Hopefully it comes to fruition.
And we just want to give a big thank you to you and Chris. Thank you guys so much for inviting us to do that,
you,
man.
man.
That is, me and Javier
You're
are stoked,
welcome.
man. I mean, obviously wrestling, that's our thing.
That's
and
our thing, man.
To
And
be
we can't
able
wait.
to
And we
host,
plan to bring some more wrestlers in the future cons. We plan to bring some more, not just anime. We plan to bring some more wrestlers, and not only that, what we want to do is also we want to bring other voice actors for cartoons for Scooby Doo, for the Muppets. I mean, we want to get a mixture of everything. So we
Straight
can
up
bring,
like pop culture
yes,
stuff.
pop culture
yeah,
stuff.
we're looking to bring some
Stuff
bigger
that we
stars.
loved.
We want to bring people in like Rosario Dawson or Hayden Christensen, people like that. We want to bring some bigger stars. So we're trying to slowly build up. And
Well, where do you start? From the bottom
from the bottom up.
until we get here,
That's
right?
it.
yep. And
So, what is the future? What does the future hold for Romeo Con? Let's say 5 years from now. Are you guys graduating Romeo Con? Is there a bigger venue that you guys outgrew your first store? Are you guys outgrowing the location you're at?
There's another side to the athletic center also, so we plan to fill that too. If we do fill it out and it becomes something bigger than what we thought, we kind of want to keep it here in Romeoville. We don't want to kill it.
Yeah.
We discussed that. We were like, do we go to a different venue? But if we go to a different venue, we're going to call it Romeo Con in Chicago or
right.
wherever we take it, Indiana or whatever. I'm like, no.
This is
I
home.
said, I think Romeo Con should stay Romeo Con.
Yeah.
That's one thing that there's a lot of cons do is they change their names. People buy them out, they change their names. Unless we get bought out or whatever, I want to keep this our baby. This is Romeo Con. This is where we started. I want to keep, and that's if we do get bought out. I'm gonna ask them if they keep it Romeo Con
Yeah, it's kind of I don't know. I
because
mean,
it could happen.
if we get bought out, I kind of like it'd be dumb to turn down money. I mean, yeah, if somebody comes with the right deal, then I'll be like, take it. You do whatever you want with it, but
It's
no,
yours.
All right.
No,
But I thought you were gonna say it's his. Don't worry about it.
No, but
No,
like we
no.
want to make sure that this con stays its own thing, and we get to do whatever with our other conventions. But
We love
Romeo
Romeoville. We love Romeo Con.
Yeah, we do. We love it so much.
So that's from the bottom of our hearts. This is where we started. You never forget where you started, right?
Absolutely.
You never forget where you come from.
Nope.
Yeah.
You always got to stay humble and
Definitely.
just continue going, right?
We are
So we wanna
definitely
keep
looking
this-
forward to being part of it, man.
And thank
Yes,
you
and
again.
we are so happy to have you guys on.
Thank you guys.
Happy you came
Yeah,
into our
man.
store and we met you, Javi.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Like I said, for future
Weird.
cons, we're just a phone call away, man. Just
Hey.
let us know.
So
Yeah.
You're
one,
welcome.
the very last question.
yes.
Considering that I know where you're coming from, and you guys are both huge wrestling fans. I mean, you're wearing freaking the World Heavyweight Championship on your neck,
Like that.
and you're wearing Venom out of your freaking shirt. So obviously, there's a huge comic book love there. There's a huge wrestling love. If money was no option, I know you guys are still starting out, and like you mentioned before, family con. But if money was no absolute, issue, who is your favorite or your favorite guest that you could book tomorrow and say, hey, this is my dream guest for Romeo Con?
CM Punk.
CM Punk, huh? Philly boy.
I'm gonna have to go with.
Hey.
I would love to book Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man. I would
Okay.
love to get him. It's just you don't see enough Spider-Mans out, and if
The
we
original,
had
right? Is it the original?
the original from 2000s Sam Raimi films, I would
You get
love.
the voice actor from the cartoon from the 90s, man.
Oh, I would love to too. That'd be. We couldn't find him. He's like not on social media.
He's
as
a
much.
monk somewhere.
But
in
I would love
freaking
to get any
Himalayas.
Spider-Man would be awesome. Maybe some Mortal Kombat guys.
Surprised you didn't say Frank Castle, man, the Punisher. John Bernthal.
We have tried,
We tried.
but
Oh, really?
there's
but now
a few
we
people.
get, since we've had Romeo going, we're promoting for it. We've run into a lot of new people, a couple more agents that said, we got you, we got next Romeo Con, we got you,
Yeah.
we got this person, we got that. And John Bernthal was one of them that we were looking for.
And
So
Rosario Dawson
you're
was
on
a
our list,
person.
John. You're
Hey,
on our list, baby.
I'm a big John Bernthal fan, so if that happens, I'm gonna be right. Hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be right there.
He's
There-
on our list heavy. So
There was a like a few one of them was Rosario Dawson. We did try to reach out to for those who like Ahsoka or any of the what's his name Kevin Smith films. We have tried to get someone like who was it I'm trying to think of who it is. Oh my god, we did try to get CM Punk.
we did. We
We
reached
did,
out
yeah.
to them.
That was that
and
was
he was
crazy.
willing to work with us, but I think he's in the 5-6.
We just weren't there yet,
6
but
digit.
give it time. You'll see
Gotta
him.
crawl before you walk.
I guarantee you, one day.
I'll tell you guys what, man. You guys are very inspiring, man. To see where you guys started, losing your job during COVID, with your brainchild of an idea of selling toys, and to see where you guys have come, how far you guys have come, and where you guys are doing now. You guys are definitely many prongs up up from the bottom of the ladder, and you guys are just gonna get higher from that, man. And I wish you guys all the best and all the success, man. It's coming,
Thank you so much, man. Thank you
Thank
so
you, man.
much. We appreciate you guys coming out.
man. Thank you for having us. Yes,
Any
thank you.
publicity for our store, hey, we truly appreciate it, and we wish you guys the best. You have some great equipment here, man. I'll tell you.
No,
Thank you for having us on.
Appreciate it,
Yes,
man.
we truly appreciate you guys, and we can't wait for Romeo Con.
Yeah, we're
so,
excited.
Let's do it,
toast
man.
to that.
Yep. So you know what? I'm glad he said
That's
that
a
because
good
hold
way to
on,
sign off.
because that's usually how we sign off. We sign off with a toast saying "Salud, cabrones." So before we do that, I want to give a special thanks again to Mr. Chris and Mr. Rich for having us here.
I'm sorry I had to cut you off, but I also want to give a special shout out to my man Parker, who is our brother and our partner in Romeo Con 3. Without his knowledge and help, we probably wouldn't have Romeo Con 3 the way it is today. So cheers. Okay.
So shout out to him, man, and shout out to you guys again. Shout out to Midwest Collectibles. You guys make sure you guys check out Romeo Con 3, November 9th and November 10th. Big shout out to our sponsors, the Law Office of Christopher Hoff and the Taco Villa in Villa Park. All right, fellas, this is where we pick up our drinks, and we'll say salud, cabrones. So when you're ready, 1, 2, 3, salud, cabrones.
Danny. We need another one. We need to say Romeo Con.
So,
Oh, look at that!
Is that what we're doing?
Today's gotta be a special sound off, man.
Okay.
We can't just sign off with our own. We gotta.
All right.
Hi, man.
so here we go. So then
Hello.
we're doing a second one. 1, 2, 3,
Romeo
Con. We out.